If I were to ask you what the difference between the Amish and the Mennonites are, you probably couldn't give me an answer. My name's Logan Corbin, and today I'm going to talk to you about the various differences between the Amish and the Mennonites, such as their origin, their location, and their beliefs. Both are extremely unique cultural groups. If you don't know, a cultural group is a group based on race, ethnicity, beliefs, and several other factors. The only major similarity between the Amish and the Mennonites is what they originated from. Both were originally Protestant. Both groups were originally Protestant and separated and were later known as the Anabaptists. They separated over a difference in baptism. They became known as the Anabaptists because of the belief Anabaptism. Anabaptism is the belief to choose to be baptized as an adult. This is as saying you're accepting Christ in your life as an adult and not as a kid, so it's your choice. Jacob Amen left the Anabaptists in 1693. He left because they weren't strict enough, they didn't enforce their rules, and they weren't separated enough from society. Amen's followers became known as the Amish later on. According to my sources, this aid talks about the brief history of the Amish, how they started as Protestants, how they separated when Jacob Amen left the Anabaptists, and where they are now. The remaining Anabaptists became known as the Mennonites, and they continue the Anabaptist beliefs. The Amish immigrated to America in 1733. The Amish live in 22 U.S. states and Ontario, Canada. However, the Mennonites, unlike the Amish, live all over the world. According to my sources, they are distributed all across the world. They live in developed and developing countries. Mennonites have a very diverse ethnicity because of this. They like to help out people in less fortunate situations than them. This is why you can find African Mennonites, Indian Mennonites, American Mennonites, several ethnicities. The Mennonites immigrated into the U.S. in the late 18th century. Both groups believe in the similar things. They both believe in the Christian doctrine. However, they have many differences within that. The Amish believed in stricter separation, which means no technology at all. They don't have running water, they don't have electricity, they don't use tractors to plow, they use nothing. According to this book here, known as The Gentle People, which is a portrait of the Amish by James A. Warner, on page 60, we get to see a look of how they use drip irrigation and rainwater to bathe and drink. As you can see in this picture, they use drip irrigation to collect water. They use snow, they use rainwater. They don't have running water, so this is the best they get. Amish people, unlike the Mennonites, also don't shave their beards once they get married. The Mennonites do not practice this. Mennonites do use some technology, unlike the Amish, though. They do use tractors when plowing the fields. They can have some electricity in their house, and they do have phones in their villages. Both of these groups celebrate a tradition called Romspringa. It is a tradition where the youth of the groups integrate into society, and they have a choice whether to go back to their village or integrate into society. The Amish celebrate Romspringa at ages 14 to 16, while the Mennonites celebrate at ages 16 to 21. The Mennonites like to help people across the world in less fortunate situations, which is why they are so diverse in their ethnicity and can be found all over the world in places such as India and Indonesia. In conclusion, both of these ethnic groups are very similar yet extremely different.